Hey everyone. Earlier this year, I attended a track day at Thunderhill East and I got meatballed during my first session. For those of you unfamiliar with track flags, the meatball flag is used by corner workers to indicate that your car is having a mechanical problem and that you should pit immediately. So I headed to the hot pits to see what was going on with my car, and the staff reported that there was a lot of blue smoke coming from my car. The corner workers were concerned that I was spilling oil on the track, but after a quick inspection of my car, they sent me back out on my way. What I experienced is a common issue with tracked Honda S2000s that is commonly referred to as a smokescreen issue or the blow-by issue. So how do you know if you're encountering this issue? The most obvious symptom of this issue is blue smoke coming out of the exhaust on right-hand corners. It can be difficult to see this for yourself when driving, but other people will definitely let you know about it.
Oh, wow. We got some smoke coming out of that S2000.
The second and more startling symptom of this issue is oil consumption. I personally lost up to half a quart of oil during each of my 5 20-minute sessions. If I hadn't checked my oil in between each session, I probably would have lost my motor. You might be wondering, why does this happen? Well, if you take a look at your valve cover, you will notice a thin metal baffle welded beneath the roof of the valve cover. Ironically, this baffle is designed to prevent oil in the valve train from flying into the PCV valve or the breather hose. During normal street driving, this baffle works exceptionally well, but on the track it can work against you. When you're driving on the track, your car is experiencing intense G-forces and oil is sloshing around your engine from side to side. When you take a hard left-hand corner, your oil will slosh up against the passenger side of the valve cover wall. If the G-forces are strong enough and the corner is long enough, it is possible for the oil to find its way behind the valve cover baffle. Once the oil is trapped behind the valve cover baffle, all it takes is a consecutive hard right-hand turn for the oil to cross towards the driver's side of the valve cover and get sucked out by the PCV valve. The PCV valve will carry the oil out from the valve cover into the intake manifold and then ultimately into the engine, where it is burnt and turned into the blue smoke that you see. Having said that, the severity of this issue is dependent on a few things. The first thing it depends on is the track configuration. This issue seems to happen specifically on tracks with hard left-hand turns, followed by hard right-hand turns. The second thing it depends on is the generation of Honda S2000. The AP1 PCV valve sits in a hole directly at the edge of the valve cover, while the AP2 PCV valve is actually offset towards the center of the valve cover. On top of that, the AP2 valve cover has an additional wall behind the baffle plate that looks like it is designed specifically to prevent oil from reaching the PCV valve. If you've confirmed that you are experiencing this issue, there are a few different ways you can go about solving the problem. The most common solution is to install a catch can. Catch cans are guaranteed to eliminate the blue smoke coming from the car, but they are not guaranteed to eliminate oil consumption. It all depends on how the catch cans are configured. When the catch cans are set up in a closed system, you will continue to consume a lot of oil because the intake manifold will still be pulling vacuum on the valve cover. All the oil that would have been burned will simply end up in your catch cans. The annoying part about this is that you'll have to continue monitoring your oil levels and also empty out your catch cans pretty often. When the catch cans are set up in an open system, most of the oil consumption should be eliminated since there is no longer any vacuum on the valve cover. Instead, any vapors coming from the valve cover will just be dumped to the atmosphere. The annoying part about this is that you'll end up smelling and inhaling vapors that are dumped to the atmosphere. Catch cans run anywhere from $50 to $400 and are very straightforward to install, but they do add clutter to your engine bay and they may not pass emissions inspection depending on your state. The less common but more effective solution is to modify the valve cover baffle. The idea to modify the valve cover baffle was originally introduced in 2011 and later popularized in 2015 by the S2KI user Rain Hater. The idea behind modifying the valve cover baffle is to strategically create holes in the baffle such that oil trapped behind the baffle will drain before reaching the PCV valve. What is great about this modification is that it almost entirely eliminates the chance that oil gets sucked out of the valve cover by the PCV valve. The cost of having the valve cover baffle modified largely depends on whether you do it yourself or you have it done professionally. If you do the modification yourself, it could be done for free, but the process can be quite daunting. If you like the modification done right, Rainhater himself can perform the modification for less than $300. I'll have a link to his thread in the description box down below. If you're interested, I ended up modifying the valve cover baffle myself. I chose to modify my valve cover baffle because I feel like installing catch cans is really a band-aid solution that addresses the symptoms of the issue without addressing the root cause. When I took my car back to Thunderhill East this past weekend, I was blown away by how effective the modification was. During the first session, I didn't blow a single smokescreen and my oil level remained the same after the session was over. I kept checking the oil throughout the day and the oil level barely changed at all. My friend Alex and his AP1 experienced similar results to mine. I hope this video clarifies this issue for S2000 owners out there. If you solved this problem yourself, comment down below with the solution that worked out for you. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below for any DIY you'd like to see in the future.